Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special Famhealth Live that we are doing this Saturday morning with Sangeeta ji, who is here to talk to us about her experiences as a caregiver. Before we get started, thank you so much for coming. We wanted to do this special Famhealth episode or session because we figured that although we do our best to bring you all the expertise we can, we also wanted to give you some aspect of what it is that many people just like you go through when they have to or when they take on the amazing responsibility of caring for their loved ones. So, Sangeeta ji.
Thank you so much, Sanjana. Happy to be here. As you can make out, I'm a little nervous, but I'm ready to answer any questions that you may have. Quick background about myself as a caregiver. I've been the caregiver for 4 elderly people. My mother had cancer in the early 90s. And though my father was the primary caregiver as the only child in India, I had to do a lot of helping him out. My father-in-law also had cancer and passed away. My father had Parkinsons and Dementia. He passed away also in 2017. And just before that, my mother-in-law was diagnosed with cancer. So it's just been like a long journey of caregiving different diseases and different people. And it's been difficult.
Yes,
it's been difficult.
Well, thank you so much again for coming here and, being willing to share your experiences, not just with us at Famhealth, but with all of you out there that are watching. And thanks to you for tuning in. At the outset, I just want to ask, first of all, with regards to the Parkinson's and dementia diagnosis, can you tell us a little bit about your experience or कि जब आपको पहली बार पता चला कि ये सब हो रहा है with your father, तो आपने क्या महसूस किया? What was your initial reaction there?
तो मेरे फादर की डायग्नोसिस पहले अर्ली 2000 में हुआ था.
अच्छा, और थोड़ा बहुत हमारे व्यूअर्स के लिए अगर आप बता सकते हैं कि पार्किंसंस क्या होता है, डिमेंशिया क्या होती है?
तो मेरे फादर का डायग्नोसिस अर्ली 2000 में हुआ था. तब मेरी माँ जिंदा थी और कुछ देर के लिए उन्होंने किसी को बताया नहीं. वो अपने आप उसके साथ डील करने लगे. विमहैंस में उनका ट्रीटमेंट चल रहा था और क्योंकि मैं बहुत बारी बैंगलोर जाती थी, तो एक बारी मेरी माँ ने कहा, मैंने पूछा कि ये बाथरूम का दरवाजा खुला क्यों रहता है हर वक्त? हमारे घरों में बाथरूम का दरवाजा बंद होता है. उनके मेरे पेरेंट्स के घर में बाथरूम का दरवाजा खुला था. तो तब मेरी माँ ने बताया कि मेरे फादर, जिनको हम अन्ना बुलाते थे, कि उनको डिमेंशिया और पार्किंसंस दोनों है और रात को जब वो उठते हैं तो वो भूल जाते हैं कि बाथरूम कहाँ है. फिर पेशाब तो करना ही होता है, तो कभी कभी वो घर में हो जाता है. तो फिर मैंने पूछा कि अच्छा ये है क्या चीज, डिमेंशिया क्या है, पार्किंसंस क्या है, दोनों एक ही डिजीज हैं कि 2 डिजीजेस हैं? तो हमें ये पता चला कि 2 अलग अलग डिजीजेस हैं, पर बहुत बारी इकट्ठे हो जाते हैं क्योंकि इट्स द सेम न्यूरोलॉजिकल,
जैसे हम कहते हैं कोमॉर्बिड कंडीशन.
यस. तो और डायग्नोसिस के बाद हमें ये नहीं पता चल रहा था कि पार्किंसंस ज्यादा तेज बढ़ रहा है कि डिमेंशिया ज्यादा तेज बढ़ रहा है. तो एक बारी जब वो गिरे और फिर वो बिल्कुल उठ नहीं पा रहे थे और बहुत चुप हो गए थे, हमें उनको अस्पताल ले जाना पड़ा और उन्होंने मेरे फादर को रिकॉर्ड किया फॉर 24 आवर्स. और रिकॉर्डिंग के बेसिस पे जो मूवमेंट्स होते हैं, इनवॉलंटरी मूवमेंट्स, वो पलट नहीं पा रहे थे ठीक तरह, तो उसके बेसिस पे फिर उन्होंने कहा कि सुनो, इनकी पार्किंसंस ज्यादा तेज बढ़ रहा है और डिमेंशिया इज एन एड ऑन डिजीज टू इट. तो वो तो बढ़ता ही जाता है, just gets worse and worse.
Parkinson's.
Both dementia and Parkinson's. फिर मेरी माँ उनका देहांत हुआ था 2011 में. फिर उसके बाद तो मेजर केयर गिवर इन द अर्ली स्टेजेस मेरी माँ थी, बट इन द लेटर स्टेजेस हम थे। तो मेरे बहन, दीदी और भाई और छोटी बहन कुछ देर के लिए, फिर एंड में मेरे साथ रहे फॉर अबाउट 3.5-4 years till he passed away.
So, what exactly is Parkinson's?
Okay, so Parkinson's is a neurological disease which is caused because of the lack of dopamine. Okay. From what I understand, right? I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
This is.
Yes, she's not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor. My understanding, and it causes tremors.
Okay.
It causes stiffness, so a person cannot walk on towards the end stages. You'll see that. So my father used to shuffle. He couldn't walk properly. His hands would become very stiff. His neck had become absolutely stiff. And when I say stiff, it's like, I used to sit with my father, डॉक्टर के ऑफिस के सामने बहुत बारी वेट करना होता है ना, और वो कहते हैं कि अगर जॉइंट स्टिफ है तो उनको मोबिलाइज करते रहो। तो उनको एक्सरसाइजेस सिखाया गया था ना कि मोबिलाइज करो एल्बो, रिस्ट। तो बैठ के मैं कहती थी कि अन्ना चलो हम वेट कर रहे हैं तो एक्सरसाइज करें। तो कहते थे हाँ। तो मैं कहती थी ठीक है, अब रिस्ट, हम तो रिस्ट ऐसे रोल करते हैं ना, उनका होता था ये। फिर हम हंसते थे कि अन्ना देखो मैं कैसे रिस्ट को मोबिलाइज कर रही हूँ और आप देखो ये मोबिलाइजेशन नहीं है। फिर मैं पकड़ के मोबिलाइज करती थी, एल्बो, शोल्डर, नीज। और काफी बारी लोग हमारी तरफ बड़ी अजीब तरीके से देखते थे कि ये लोग कर क्या रहे हैं, है ना, कि डॉक्टर के ऑफिस के सामने 40 लोग बैठे हैं और ये एक बुजुर्ग आदमी जो व्हील चेयर में है ऐसे अजीब अजीब चीजें कर रहे हैं, एंकल मोबिलाइज, नी मोबिलाइज। पर मेरी ये रियलाइजेशन थी कि जो भी अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले मोबिलाइज करते रहो, क्योंकि बहुत ज्यादा स्टिफनेस, हिप की स्टिफनेस, नी की स्टिफनेस बहुत ज्यादा हो जाती है। स्टिफनेस माने अकड़ जाता है कभी। तो हम बैठ के वैसे ही मोबिलाइज करते थे और एक गेम बना देते थे। उनको भी पता चलता था कि लोग उनकी तरफ अजीब तरीके से देख रहे हैं, तो कहते थे कि देखो सब लोग मेरी तरफ देख रहे हैं कि ये बूढ़ा आदमी क्या कर रहा है। तो क्या हुआ, मोबिलाइज ही तो कर रहे हैं, कोई गलत काम थोड़ी ना कर रहे हैं। तो ऐसे, तो दैट्स व्हाट पार्किंसंस इज। एंड फिर जब वो प्रोग्रेस होता है, there are various ways. So you have the inability to swallow, you can get aspiration pneumonia, various other things that are associated with just your muscle function चला जाता है। तो उसके साथ बहुत से other results होते हैं। Nobody dies of Parkinson's. People die of complications caused by Parkinson's. Right? That's the thing about Parkinson's.
And so, when you found out, I mean, how did it feel from your own sort of emotional health perspective? Because
when I found out, I didn't know what it meant.
Right. Yeah.
So there was nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Then we went and did lots of research on the internet. So the internet will describe the disease. कहेंगे कि न्यूरोलॉजिस्ट से जाके मिलो, कि ये दवाई होती है जिससे आप अरेस्ट कर सकते हो, कभी ठीक नहीं होगा, अरेस्ट कर सकते हैं, स्लो डाउन कर सकते हैं, पर वो बढ़ता जाएगा। और एक्चुअली अब जब मैं सोचती हूँ तो मेरे फादर बहुत ब्रेव थे, क्योंकि उन्होंने मेरे से ज्यादा रिसर्च किया था। तो वो हमसे कहते थे कि सुनो ये हो सकता है, वो हो सकता है, फिर कैसे मैनेज करेंगे। तो वो बहुत ब्रेव थे और वो अपना नॉर्मल लाइफ जीते। पहले वॉकिंग स्टिक यूज किया, फिर वॉकर यूज किया, फिर एंड में तो वो प्रीटी मच व्हील चेयर पे थे। बाहर जाते थे, लोगों से मिलते थे। तो इनिशियली हमें इतना इफेक्ट नहीं, ठीक है अब डिजीज है तो डिजीज है, कुछ नहीं कर सकते। जब पार्किंसंस का प्रोग्रेशन के बारे में हमें पता चला तो it was very frightening, because my father is a very independent person. He had a great sense of humor, He could speak to a 2-year-old child and a 90-year-old person the same.
Yeah.
अगर हम पार्टी में होते थे और कहीं से बहुत जोरों की हंसी आती थी तो मेरे फादर वहां पे होते थे, पर जब ये सब बंद होने लगा तो ऐसे लगता था कि ये वही आदमी तो नहीं, वही आदमी नहीं है.
Yeah.
That vivacious man is just 10% of what he is. That's very hard to watch, to see somebody just literally disintegrate in front of him. That's exceedingly hard to watch.
And when you saw that happening, what did how were you able to cope with that? What for you was a good coping mechanism? क्योंकि आपने तो इतनी देखभाल की अपनी family की. How were you taking care of yourself? क्योंकि for our viewers, जैसे हमने कहा कि अब हम neither of us are doctors, तो हम बताना चाहते हैं कि अगर कोई इस situation में है जिसमें आप थे, तो how should they go about trying to take care of themselves and make sure that they are healthy enough कि वो दूसरों की देखभाल कर पाए?
तो actually, in all honesty, मैंने देखभाल नहीं किया. Okay, there was a time where मैं सुबह 4:45 बजे उठती थी, थोड़ी देर वॉक किया, उनके घर जाती, क्योंकि वो मेरे घर में मेरे इन-लॉज थे और उनका घर सेपरेट था, एक और अपार्टमेंट था, तो फिर मैं उनके घर जाती थी, फिर उनका पूरा घर जो भी करना है संभालना है, फिर ऑफिस, फिर वापस उनके पास, फिर मैं घर आती थी 9 साढ़े 9 बजे. उसके बीच में there is no taking care of myself, which is a big mistake. वो जैसे कहते हैं you're burning the candle at both ends.
Yes.
I burned the candle at both ends completely. बहुत टाइम लगा मुझे ये समझने में कि अगर मैं अपनी देखभाल नहीं करूंगी और मुझे कुछ हो गया तो उनका देखभाल कौन करेगा, है ना? एक तो वो है. दूसरा ये ऑलवेज लगता है कि सिर्फ हम ही कर सकते हैं देखभाल, राइट, और कोई नहीं कर सकता. दैट्स अ फैलेसी. बहुत लोग हैं जो हेल्प कर सकते हैं, मांगना पड़ता है क्योंकि वो अपने आप ऑफर नहीं करते. वो सीखना भी बहुत मुश्किल होता है क्योंकि ऐसे लगता है कि अगर मैं किसी से हेल्प मांगूं, और मांगने में झिझक होती है. जब मांगे और कोई ना कहे तो बुरा लगता है. जब तो वो तो प्रॉब्लम है. तो मुझे बहुत टाइम लगा. और अगर जब भी मैं अब किसी केयरगिवर से मिलती हूँ तो मैं कहती हूँ कि डेफिनेटली आप अपने बारे में सोचिए. आपको एक्सरसाइज करना है, एंटरटेनमेंट चाहिए, बस कहीं निकल के एक मूवी देख लीजिए अकेले अपने आप में. मुश्किल है क्योंकि हर वक्त मन में यही चलता रहता है कि अगर कुछ हो जाए और मैं घर पे नहीं हूँ तो कौन संभालेगा, कौन करेगा. और अगर कोई है जिनके घर में कोई केयरगिवर है, जैसे आपके भाई बहन केयरगिवर हैं और आप नहीं हैं, तो मैं उनसे कहती हूँ कि सुनो, उनको एक ब्रेक देना. जाके वो ही केयर गिविंग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज एक दिन नहीं, 2 घंटे नहीं, एक पूरा हफ्ता देना. क्योंकि 2 दिन लगते हैं आपको निकलने में, फिर थोड़ा बहुत एंजॉय करेंगे, फिर वापस जब आप वापस केयरगिवर बनेंगे तो 2 दिन और लगते हैं. तो उनको रिलीव करो. I think what we all need is relief from just the everyday care.
Yeah. Okay, we've gotten some questions on our Facebook feed as well. So pehle to Tina ji says, so proud of you, Sangeeta. You're an inspiration, good human being, daughter, and a great friend. And
thank you, Tina.
And I agree. Thank you so much. And then we have one question about what levels of care do you need to prepare for?
If you have, so for somebody with Parkinson's, you have to prepare for the fact that somebody is going to be completely bedridden at some point of time. Okay. So, and for my father, in the last 3.5 years of his life, 3.5 years, I had 24-hour attendant. Okay. I had, since he was in a separate house, so 24 घंटे एक अटेंडेंट होता था. उनके कुक, क्योंकि उनके लिए खाना में और स्पेशल खाना इन द सेंस कि रोज पपाया खाना है क्योंकि कॉन्स्टिपेशन बड़ी प्रॉब्लम होती है पार्किंसंस में. हरी सब्जी, सैलेड, तो एक कुक चाहिए होता है, बार बार उनको या चाय कॉफी ये सब, हाइड्रेटेड रहना चाहिए. फिजियोथेरेपिस्ट, एवरी थ्राइस अ वीक फिजियोथेरेपिस्ट आता था एक्सरसाइज कराने, और फिर जिस दिन वो नहीं आते थे तो हम कराते थे उनके एक्सरसाइज, वो चाहिए. फिर एक काम वाली होती थी. तो एक आदमी के लिए एक्चुअली 4 हेल्प और मैं, और वो तो चाहिए ही.
And obviously वो तो vary करेगा depending on
level
and how involved you want to be, right?
So here's my thing. You have no choice but to be involved, especially in India. And a lot of people say we'll get an attendant. Just getting an attendant doesn't help. I actually had a register where I made a schedule.
Yeah.
Every hour, 2 hours, what needs to be done, what needs to be fed, blood pressure kitna hai, did he have a dream or not, pani kitna piya, bowel movement hua ki nahi, anything. It was a register, so I knew what was happening in the day, even though he had attendance, because sometimes you don't know.
Yeah.
2 is because of his dementia, he would refuse to take medication because he would forget.
Yeah.
So अगर सुबह उनको दवाई लेनी है तो वो कहते थे मैंने तो ले लिया, आपने मुझे 5 टैबलेट्स तो दिए थे, वो जो रात के या 2 दिन पहले के 5 टैबलेट्स आपने दिए थे, अब आप मुझे ओवर मेडिकेट कर रहे हो. You want to over medicate me so that you don't need to look after me. Then I will sleep all the time. So it's very hard, but you need support.
Yes.
And I will tell caregivers, get the support. Don't be the hero, because you can't do it all on your own. You have to get support.
And did you have any sort of peer support? Were you able to find any, way to build a community that kept you grounded?
No. So okay, I know my first answer is no, that's not fair. But I had to look after my father. तो मैंने खूब इंटरनेट स्टडी किया कि सपोर्ट ग्रुप्स है कि नहीं. इंडिया में बहुत कम सपोर्ट ग्रुप्स हैं. एक मिला एक ग्रुप, पर जो भी काम और जो भी मीटिंग्स होते थे वो ऑफिस के टाइमिंग्स पे होते थे. तो मैं काम करूं या सपोर्ट ग्रुप अटेंड करूं, राइट? तो सपोर्ट ग्रुप रियली नहीं था. 2 was कि जब आप इंटरनेट पे रिसर्च करते हैं और आपको पूछना है कि इस वाली सिचुएशन में मैं क्या करूं, नॉर्मली वो कहेंगे कि ये सिचुएशन होता है, आप अपने डॉक्टर से मिलिए. ये सिचुएशन होता है, आप अपने डॉक्टर से मिलिए. तो अगर मैं वही इंस्ट्रक्शंस फॉलो करूं तो मैं रोज डॉक्टर के पास होंगी, right? I can't keep going to my neurologist and say, today my father is glassy-eyed. Oh, today my father is slurring. I don't know what to do. Oh, my father is constipated for 3 days. I don't know what to do. So every day I'll be in my doctor's house. So the doctor's clinic. So I actually decided I will write a blog. Okay. So there's a blog called Parables of a Parkinson's Patient on Blogspot. And I decided I'll write it as stories about my father, which will have tips about how I dealt with some of these things. Because you can't go to the doctor every day, right? I think that was also a support, because it was a way for me to express my struggle.
Yes.
Right? So that was kind of building my own support. 3 years I found that by writing, a lot of my friends started understanding my struggle.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? कि पहले ये होता था कि सडनली फ्राइडे मॉर्निंग को आप कहते हैं कि चलो फ्राइडे शाम को हम मिलते हैं. जब आप केयर गिवर हैं, आप ऐसे नहीं कर सकते, राइट? इंस्टिंक्टिवली कि फ्राइडे सुबह कहें कि चलो आप फ्राइडे शाम को मूवी देखने चलते हैं, वो होता नहीं. आपको प्लान करना पड़ता है. तो माय फ्रेंड्स अंडरस्टूड कि अगर कुछ करना है ना, संगीता के साथ, तो हमें एट द लीस्ट 5-6 दिन पहले उनको बताना पड़ेगा, ताकि वो प्रिपेयर कर पाए. तब भी सडनली कुछ हो जाता था और हम नहीं जा पाते थे. तो एट द लीस्ट हाफ द टाइम हम किसी के घर डिनर पे जाएं, मूवी देखने जाएं, किसी का बर्थडे हो, तो काफी प्रेपरेशन करना पड़ता है. उनको वो समझ आ गया, राइट? that is a big relief.
Yeah.
That's a big relief. I have 3 siblings. तो वो आते थे और कहते थे कि हम एक हफ्ता आएंगे, आप कहीं पे चले जाओ. Obviously, क्योंकि मेरे in-laws भी थे तो इतनी छुट्टी तो हम कर नहीं पाए. But at the least एक केयर गिविंग का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी अगर कम हो जाए, सडनली वो ऐसे लगता है कि बोझ जो है ना वो कम हो गया. Right?
Definitely.
That it's just a little, there's weight on your shoulders, but a little has gone.
Yeah.
That makes a difference. So you need a bunch of things.
Yeah.
A bunch of things.
And if you are also experiencing something that you want to talk about, या अगर आपको कुछ support की ज़रूरत है, or you want to express yourself, आप प्लीज आइए हमारी कम्युनिटी पे. हमने फैम हेल्थ इसीलिए ही शुरू किया है that people can come and connect with each other and find support. क्योंकि like Sangeeta has said, there's not that much out there in terms of support groups online, and हम पूरी कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि हम ये support आप तक पहुंचाएं. And so we've gotten a few questions on this, and it's definitely also a question that I have been asked by other people, which is caregiver fatigue, यानी कि जो थकान सी होती है. Obviously इतना आपने इतने लोगों की इतनी देखभाल की, so obviously at some points you must have felt a sense of, you must have been exhausted.
It's not at some point. You're exhausted every day, all the time. And it's very hard because when you tell someone, I'm exhausted, I've had so many people tell me, why are you exhausted? Why are you always saying you're exhausted? So guess what? I stopped saying I'm exhausted, which isn't good.
Yeah.
Right? But you're physically tired, you're mentally tired. I've never really slept well, but I really stopped sleeping because my ear was always open for a phone call. कि कुछ हुआ है. Right? तो नींद ही नहीं आती थी. One of the things that ended up happening is because I was just so exhausted, I thought eating would help. Because you're tired. You know, बचपन में ये होता है कि अच्छा बाहर जाओ, खेल के आओ, थकावट होती है, फिर माँ कहती थी कि एक ग्लास दूध पी लो, कुछ फ्रूट खा लो. तो getting over exhaustion is eating. It isn't eating. This is a different type of exhaustion. It's there all the time. I don't know. I found exercising helped, right? In the mornings. For me, mornings. I don't like evening this thing. So morning, even if it's 20 minutes, aap chal do. It helps, right? But it's going to be there. I don't think we have a solution for it. You know what? Okay, so just what happened? I used to read 50 books a year, almost a book a week. मेरा पढ़ना बिल्कुल 0 हो गया क्योंकि मैं फोकस ही नहीं कर पाती थी. कोई भी किताब हो, लाइट किताब हो, सीरियस किताब हो, फोकस करना पड़ता है. So it was just mental exhaustion. I could be reading the same paragraph 5 times and nothing would register.
Wow.
So it's going to be there. I don't think there is. All I can say is eat well, exercise. Bigger thing, get caregiver relief. अगर आप अकेले caregiving कर रहे हैं, तो या आप अपने भाई या बहन या अंकल या आंट या किसी को बोलो कि आके 1 हफ्ता 2 हफ्ते आके वो caregiving करें और आप कहीं चले जाएं, छुट्टी पे चले जाएं. कभी-कभी मैं ये सोचती थी कि मैं जाके एक होटल में एक रूम बुक करके बस मैं जाके 2 दिन चिल करूं, टीवी देखूं, सो call in room service. That was holiday for me.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to go to Simla or Manali or Goa or anything else. That was holiday.
Yeah. Wow. एक related question आया है, which is कि caregivers को obviously जब आप you're dealing with someone who's going through so much and you're going through so much, तो caregivers को बहुत positive रहना होता है. या perception तो यही है कि caregivers को positive रहना होता है और to be the beacon, sort of positivity family के लिए. तो kabhi I'm sure that must have been very hard.
Yeah.
So how did you find it within yourself? तो कहाँ से ये लेके आया कि मुझे positive ही रहना है इस situation में?
So I think there are two things to it. हम कुछ ज्यादा ही प्रेशर डालते हैं केयर गिवर पे कि आप पॉजिटिव रहो. भले क्यों? केयर गिवर है, ये आसान थोड़ी ना है, तो इतना ज्यादा प्रेशर डालते हैं. एक तो केयर गिविंग का प्रेशर है, फिर कहते हैं सुनो आप ऑलवेज पॉजिटिव रहो. नहीं होता, वो नहीं होता. ठीक है. Some days you're going to sit and cry all night. You're going to get angry. You're going to get irritated. You're going to feel lonely. कि सबने मुझे तो अबैंडन कर दिया. हाथ धो लिए कि जाओ संगीता तुम सब कुछ अपने आप करो. लगेगा. और मैं कहती हूँ इट्स ओके. लगना चाहिए क्योंकि आप भी तो ह्यूमन बीइंग है ना. आई मीन यू आर नॉट अ रोबोट. वो तो होएगा. प्रॉब्लम ये है जब वो ऑल द टाइम आपको ऐसे, अगर आप ऐसे फील करते रहेंगे तो फिर डिप्रेशन हो जाएगा. है ना. मुझे डिप्रेशन हुआ था and it took me a lot to get over it. But उस डिप्रेशन में भी I was play acting, feeling positive.
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling positive. I was truly miserable. I would keep saying I want to run away. And people thought that it was just an expression of being burdened.
Yeah. But
I wanted to run away. If I didn't feel tied down to being a caregiver, अगर ये नहीं होता मेरे मन में कि अगर मैं नहीं देखभाल करूंगी तो और कौन करेगा, मैं एक्चुअली कहीं पे भाग जाती. छोड़ छाड़ के मैं भाग जाती. That's very hard. So I meant it in all truthfulness that I want to run away.
Yeah.
It's just that I didn't. But you have to get out of it. So you have to find things that give you a positive frame of mind. For me, working and meeting people is positive. क्योंकि वहां पे लगता है कि कुछ कर रहे हो, उसका इम्पैक्ट देख रहे हो. कोई आके कहते हैं कि थैंक यू, ये आपने किया. Just thank you. Hearing thank you from someone gives you a sense of positivity. Friends, family often can make you feel good. Somebody just saying, Sangeeta, you're doing all you can is great. I had a friend who said, stop trying to be perfect. And that was amazing because I always thought everything had to be perfect. Right? And she said, you have to redefine perfect to be the best you can do. That's perfection. And for me, it was like a light bulb went off in my mind. This is, jitna मैं कर रही हूँ, पूरे दिल से कर रही हूँ, वो perfection है. उससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं हो सकता, ठीक है. So it's a very hard thing to deal with.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Thank you for being here and thank you for sharing your experiences with us. And actually, I have something we want to give you. Since now I'm getting emotional and I need to break the emotions a little bit. So my favorite brand, Kika, has a shirt that says Warrior.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
And we at Famhealth genuinely believe that you are a true warrior. And here you go.
Thank you so much.
And this is from us to you.
Lovely. Lovely. Thank you. So now you know what I'm going to be exercising in, right?
Exactly. This is for all the walks you want to go on.
Yes. Thank you so much.
So just looking through some of the additional questions. So a lot of people are sending messages of support and saying that they're extremely proud of you.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I'm trying to get to the questions, but thank you all so much. Yes, we think Sangeeta is awesome as well.
And Sanjana, the only thing I'm going to request of people who may be on the forum and who are not caregivers is please help another caregiver, no matter who it is. It could be even a distant relative. It could be a neighbor. If you have someone, even in your neighborhood, who's a full-time caregiver, take them out for a cup of coffee. That's
Yeah.
relief. Go spend time with them. Help them in their caregiving duties, whether it's, one of the most tedious tasks was filling my father's pill boxes every week. If someone had just said, I will fill the pill boxes for you every week, that's relief. So even something that may seem very small,
Yeah.
do it diligently and do it regularly. Be consistent. ये नहीं कि एक संडे उनको कॉफी के लिए ले गए फिर भूल गए 3 महीने. क्योंकि केयर गिवर्स को भी थोड़ा कंसिस्टेंसी चाहिए होता है जैसे पेशेंट्स को चाहिए ना. तो do something consistently so you can be a great help for a caregiver. Sorry.
No, I think that's
something.
that's great. I mean, there are so many people I'm sure that will be watching this जो नहीं है caregivers और the people that I have spoken to at least उन्होंने मुझसे कहा है कि हम क्या कर सकते हैं to help. क्योंकि बहुत से लोग हैं and you're very brave and you are a warrior, लेकिन बहुत से लोग हैं जो ये जैसे आपने इसको manage किया कि बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो कर नहीं पाते, but they want to do something to help out. So that is really helpful, and everyone just try and help out if you can.
So let me give you a story of another friend of mine. His father was very, very unwell, pretty much bedridden, and unke colony mein, there was this woman who used to get the children together and they used to play games. And she told me this story where she used to get the children to do a play, and they would come on a regular basis and just do the play for uncle in his house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is a bunch of 5, 7, 10, 12-year-olds who are putting up some play they've written. It doesn't matter what it's about. But the fact that, her father, and she was so grateful that here was somebody in the neighborhood who was doing something with the children, but thought about how do I bring this to an elderly person who's alone at home, right, and bedridden. And he just gets a little bit of relief watching these young children do a play. Dashera ke time pe there would be something, and then Christmas ke time pe something. And it was a regular feature. That is a great help also. So there are ways to help in just multiple ways.
Yeah.
Right? I think you need to think about the struggle and say, what is it that I can do to give someone relief?
Yes, and I think we should all think about this in our daily lives, and especially in caregiving. And one of the questions we've gotten is, do you think that counseling can be helpful for caregivers?
Of course. Definitely. The issue, I think, in our country is that access to counseling is very
right. Yes.
But even before that is a lot of us don't realize that counseling can help.
Yes.
We don't even know that counseling exists, right?
Sorry guys, it's Saturday now. The doorbell.
The doorbell rings.
Sorry.
So yes, I do think counseling can help. We just need to have access to that. I think I would have benefited from it versus trying to find my own solutions.
And did you ever think about was there a barrier for you कि आपने counseling क्यों नहीं seek out की? Is it just access?
No, I just think I got so caught up in the everyday grind that I didn't stop to look at myself.
Yeah.
Right? Even though I'm the type of person who does stop to take a look at myself otherwise.
Yeah.
This was just a situation where I got caught behind. And see, you have to understand. I was work, 2 houses, 3 people pretty much in their 80s. There was a year where my father was obviously Parkinson's dementia. My father-in-law got leukemia. Looking after him. He passed away in 45 days. My mother-in-law was diagnosed with cancer, and chemo had started, and my father passed away a few months after that. Now, in that, seriously, I didn't know what I was doing. Wearing the same T-shirt all the time. Of course, because I would wear the t-shirt, it'll go for a wash, it'll come back, it's a stock on my cover, I'll take it out and wear it again.
Yes.
So I wore the same thing every
Power
other
of the
day.
uniform.
Every other day. It was weird, saying, why are you wearing the same t-shirt all the time? It was, it's just the easiest thing to do. So even that, the effort of deciding where is additional effort. Right? Even that. So I didn't even think of the counselor. I should have. In all honesty, I should have.
Yeah.
I sometimes think I still do need to, even now, because caregiving can be very traumatic.
Definitely.
And after caregiving, when somebody passes away, there's a kind of trauma over that too.
Of course.
And it doesn't really just go away because the person has gone away.
I'm sure it doesn't.
So yeah, probably I should have a couple of conversations with someone. I just haven't done it.
We will help you find the right person.
Perfect.
We promise.
Perfect.
So जैसे आप कह रहे थे कि it can be a pretty traumatic experience or emotionally and sort of mentally बहुत ही strenuous होता है. तो एक question हमें आया है कि caregivers need to be emotionally and physically equipped to handle it. So how can one know कि मैं हूँ इस responsibility के तैयार या नहीं? Because I imagine worse than not taking the responsibility is responsibility लेना और फिर उनको छोड़ देना या उनको let down करना.
I don't think you'll ever know whether you're strong enough to be a caregiver till you do it. Okay, it's whatever you imagine is going to be the struggle, it's going to be worse. However, once you've been a caregiver, it frightens you because you have seen the worst, and it may not be as bad. So it works both ways.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to be careful. If I have to say, will you willingly go into this all over again? Of course, I would willingly do it because they're my parents, both sides, parents or in-laws. But I would worry about how I'm going to do it, definitely. I don't think you can really prepare yourself for it. You just have to do it. And you have to do it. I think the bigger thing is do it to the best of your ability and don't curse it. Right? Don't concentrate, I'm a caregiver, I'm the victim, I'm being, bothered so much, my life is gone. Of course, it is. So I have lost years of not doing all the things I wanted to do. Of course. Have I holidayed as much as I wanted? Have I partied as much as I wanted? Have I done various things? I had there was an opportunity and I grabbed it to give up my job. People will think that's really weird. Why would you give up a job at a CXO level? But I couldn't manage everything. I just did it.
Yeah. Like you said, burning the candle on both ends.
I can't burn the candles on both ends. So I don't think you really ever ready. It's just that you have to make the decision and say that's the best decision for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? And don't let detractors get you.
Yeah.
You will get a million of them. I think one of the good things was my siblings didn't interfere. Right? Very often when you're caregiving and you're one of the other siblings will say, why don't you do this or why don't you do that? You should be doing something more. I'd say to all those kinds of siblings, right? Why don't you take over caregiving?
Yeah.
Right? Stop giving advice when you can't do it yourself. And stop being detractors. You want to be positive. You want to be helpful. I've heard of enough stories where the rest of the family, and this is also an Indian thing, I think they're just overly personal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The neighbor will come and tell you, अपने आप अन्ना को रोज कोकोनट ऑयल क्यों नहीं पिलाते? वो बहुत मैंने सुना है बहुत अच्छा होता है अल्जाइमर्स के. By the way, मैंने ट्राई किया था एंड फिर अन्ना ने कहा कि अगर मैं कोकोनट ऑयल सुबह पीऊं तो मैं खाना नहीं खा सकता. So I decided खाना ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है coconut oil से.
Absolutely.
पर बहुत ज़्यादा advice मिलता है. सब लोग advice देते हैं.
तो जैसे हमने अभी बात की थी थोड़ी देर पहले about relief देना चाहिए. तो as someone who is trying to, you know, खुद caregiver नहीं है लेकिन हम caregiver को support देना चाहते हैं. तो where is this line between being a detractor and being a reliever? You know?
Is ask. Let the caregiver make the choice. You don't make the choice, right? So you go to a caregiver and say, I'd like to help you. Where do you need help?
Yeah.
Very often, caregivers think of themselves as Superman or Superwoman. That was my problem. I actually thought I was Superwoman. I thought I had to do it all. Many times when I asked, I did not get what I wanted, so I stopped. अब कितनी बारी पूछोगे? एक बारी पूछोगे, दूसरी बारी पूछोगे, तीसरी बारी तो शर्म आती है, तो नहीं पूछेंगे. I wanted people to come and ask me, right? And some of them realized that and did. You know, I would have loved it if someone said, "Hey, listen, you go off somewhere. I'll manage this for a few days," or why don't you and I? So I had friends who said, you know what, why don't you and I just go out for lunch on this day? Or that's relief. And you need that. You need someone to make the effort versus you making the effort. The problem for me was that I was normally the person who did the organizing for a lot of things.
Yeah.
And now I'm not available to do the organizing, so someone else has to step up to the plate.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing. That's, you have to offer. Let them choose. Right? You can't be the chooser of the whole thing. So I've had friends who've said, you know what, I think we want to get a few folks together. What date is convenient for you? And I would say, oh, I want to be home in time at 9 o'clock. Abhi, like now, my mother-in-law is not well. She doesn't like to be alone in the evening. So when we go out for dinner, it has to be early.
Yeah.
Right? So that we're home. So they will ask, you know, what time do you need to be back? Does a Wednesday, Tuesday, Saturday work for you better? That's showing care and consideration. And it's respectful. That's what we need people to do.
Okay. So, a question I had about personal relationships when you're, you know, in the most important relationship at that time is your relationship with the person to whom you're giving the care.
Yeah.
So, this is a personal question, लेकिन आपकी other personal relationships कैसे affect होते हैं और आपने कैसे manage किया?
Other personal relationships suffer. And they will suffer. I think it's quite impossible to manage all the multiple relationships at the same level of intensity as you would have earlier. So they do suffer. I don't know if I managed them well at all. It's, you know, I find it so hard to describe. You just deal with what's happening on an everyday basis. Sometimes it's not an everyday, Sanjana. It's like every hour, every 30 minutes. You think you've resolved something, and you say, okay, let me try something else. 30 minutes later, something crops up. And so I'll give you an example. Like I said, 3 elderly people. I'm in Gurgaon working. I get a call that father-in-law is not well and has to go to see the doctor. My husband gets a call. Simultaneous, so he's dealing with father-in-law having to go to the doctor. I get a call saying my father is not well and, you know, is saying that he's going blind and getting very emotional about it. I'm in Gurgaon. My husband is somewhere else. He comes back home. He has to decide which of the 2 elderly people does he deal with first. Okay. By the time I come back and I deal with the other person, now that's a very difficult decision to take. But As a caregiver, he had to take that decision.
Yeah.
And then I had to do the other part, depending on who came back. And then you finish dealing with it and you say, okay, that's done. And the next thing you hear is, I went in the evening then, and then the attendant told me, I don't know how to deal with your father because he stood at the door and he screamed for the police. Okay? And with dementia,
Yeah.
he's forgotten that he's back at home. And he's trying to go out, and the attendant is saying, you can't go out alone on your own. So he's standing at the open door and screaming for the police. Now, this poor attendant doesn't know what's going to happen to him, because suppose somebody had called the police, right? What would I do? So you think everything is done, and then this happens, right? So it's a...
So in these kinds of situations, did you ever feel like angry or frustrated?
Of course.
And
irritated. I would snap.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
who could fault you after having to, especially with sort of the neurological illnesses and dealing with dementia and the forgetfulness of it.
So I would snap. By the way, often I didn't realize that I was getting angry, which is really strange, because जब गुस्सा आता है ना, आपको पता चल जाता है कि गुस्सा आ रहा है, मुंह लाल हो जाता है, you feel hot, you're screaming, you can hear yourself. पर कभी-कभी मुझे पता ही नहीं चलता था. फिर लोग कहते थे कि why are you getting irritated? गुस्सा क्यों आ रहा है? मैंने एक सिंपल सी सवाल पूछी थी, तो आपको गुस्सा क्यों आ रहा है? आप इनको मैं भगा देती थी, बात नहीं सुनना, चले जाओ. तो कहते थे कि आए थे एक सिंपल सा कुछ चीज पूछने या बताने, ये भी नहीं कि पूछ रहे हैं, कि एक सिंपल सी चीज बताने, और आपने उनको भगा दिया. क्यों भगा दिया? तब मुझे पता चला कि अच्छा मैं गुस्सा हूं. तो होता है. What you need is some very good friends, who are going to tell you that you're behaving irrationally.
Yes.
Okay? It's very hard to hear. First of all, you're a caregiver. You're standing on your head to just get through the day. And then somebody tells you you're being irrational. You want to wring their neck.
Yes.
Okay? You want to tell them, what the hell, you come and do this job instead.
Yeah.
But you do need someone. A good friend, a sister who's going to... my sister once told me that, you know what? You've heard of something called hubris? I said, yes, you're getting into that phase. I was really angry. But then I sat back and I said, she's probably right.
Yes. I mean, I don't see that in you, but
no, but
I think that's part of the superwoman complex.
Yeah,
right?
It was a superwoman complex. And I needed my sister to tell me, kind of chill.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You're going in the complete opposite direction, which you don't want to be in.
Yeah.
Right? By the way, it took me about 3 weeks to accept what she said. So I went through 3 weeks of being angry.
Yes.
But it's okay.
But I guess, the message for everyone is it's okay to feel this way. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be frustrated. And we're trying to help you find support. Lekin hum sabko support chahiye, and please make sure you find it.
Yeah.
And if you need us, we're always here. famhealth.in/community. Ya hamare Facebook ko like kijiye. Ya hame WhatsApp message bhejiye. We are here. Find us, reach out to us, and we will do everything we can to try and get you a little bit of support and a little bit of relief. The next question that we have is कि ये जो आपने एक साइड तो आपने dementia और Parkinson's का with your father आपने handle किया, और दूसरी साइड पे आपने cancer की caregiving भी की है. तो what's the difference? I mean, I'm sure it's very different, लेकिन एक तो neurological है, तो दिमाग में ज़्यादा उसका असर होता है, and the other one, is more physical.
Yeah.
तो उसका आपने मतलब difference क्या है आपको लगती है?
It's so hard because every type of cancer is different.
Right.
Every patient deals with it differently. My mother had cancer in the early 90s. She had lymphosarcoma of the stomach. So, I was there for her operation. She was in ICU for probably 2 weeks. And then recovery. She had 36 sessions of chemo. And I was there for pretty much every session of chemo. So I'm in Delhi. my mother was in Bangalore. That was hard, right? So the hard piece is being there when somebody needs it, knowing, but I shouldn't say benefit. It's easier because you know chemo is on a date. You know it's every month. You know 4 days after chemo is going to be the most miserable time ever, right? Till they start recovering, or 5 days after chemo. So there's a level of predictability in her case.
Yeah.
Similarly for my mother-in-law, because we knew chemo was at a specific interval and what to deal with immediately. With my mother-in-law, because it's recent, they gave a lot of medicine to help deal with the symptoms. मेरे mother के साथ तो कोई medicines नहीं थे. So I remember feed, hold tub for vomit. Feed, hold tub for vomit. It was like constant.
Yeah.
There was the dislike for eating anything that had protein in it. She would only eat eggs if I made it. Now, I'm not in Bangalore all the time.
Right.
So for the 4 days I'm there, I would feed her well.
Yeah.
And then leave my father to deal with the outcome, or convince her not to eat mirchi because that's what she wants. So it's very different. For my father-in-law, because it was acute myeloid leukemia, it was different. Right? You again go and read up on the internet.
Yes.
One of the things I think caregivers need to know is when to stop reading stuff on the internet.
Definitely.
And you have to decide that for yourself, because the more you read, the more frightened you get. It's just so for my father-in-law, I went to a point and I said stop. What we did is we went to Cancer Port, and they are absolutely fabulous. They actually sent a counselor, and they sent someone who is a qualified nurse to just talk us through some of the things, to say you need to be prepared for ABC. That helped, because it kind of focused us to a certain set of things versus an ocean of horrible things.
Yeah.
Right. I think also with cancer, it's never that you're, when you say cancer survivor, it somehow implies that a person does not have cancer, but that person lives with it for the rest of their lives.
They're in remission.
So it's not really like surviving, it's learning how to live with cancer. Right? So for my mother, she lived with cancer for 19 years. Because no matter what you do, you still are going back for the tests. Every time you go back for the test, your heart will sink. Every time something comes up, it says it's not necessarily normal. You're like, oh my God, do I have to go through this again? My mother had meningitis 3 times.
Wow.
After her chemo. Nobody knew why. We all thought it was after the chemo, her immune system was so low. And once when we took her to the hospital, she just stopped at the door and she cried and she said, I am not going back into hospital. I can't do this again. And literally, I couldn't carry my mother, but literally I had to carry her to say, you have to go back. So I think it's every cancer is different. Every patient is different. My father-in-law was just he was just very calm about it.
Yeah.
Right? He kind of had an understanding of what it was, but he was 92. So he was a much, I think also as a man, he was a much easier person. He took everything on the chin. Much, much easier to deal with. My mother-in-law dealt with it very, very well. Is dealing with it very, very well. I think if you're an individual who is more logical, calmer, don't get into this why me mode, it helps with caregiving.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think we're almost at the end of our time, but one question that we were asked, and it kind of relates to this, is how do you keep them, हमने आपके बारे में पूछा कि आप अपने आप को कैसे पॉजिटिव रहते, feel karte ho. How do you do that for the person that's actually going through? How do you get them to stay positive? Ki jab unko aisi illnesses hai jo, especially with something like Parkinson's and dementia, to unko bhi pata tha at that time ki it's just going to progress.
Do fun things with them. Talk about fun things. With my father, I used to take him out every Sunday to the mall. So when he could walk, he would walk, shuffle, holding his wheelchair, do a little bit of walking. He'd look at stores. We'd go and have coffee or a muffin. Even when he wasn't fully conscious or there, I'd still take him to the Starbucks or to Barista or to Cafe Coffee Day. And often I've sat there and fed him his coffee and his muffin. And people have looked at me strangely. I don't know why they look at us strangely, but they have. You have to do the things to get them out of the house. Now we take my mother-in-law out every Sunday. We'll go to and why malls? Because they have even floors. It's easier to walk and it's air conditioned and the rest. And then we go out for lunch every Sunday. It's like clockwork. You have to get them out. Okay.
Yeah.
Two is at some point with terminal illnesses, I think having the conversation on what do you want at end of life is a huge relief. A lot of people find it hard to have that conversation.
That is possibly the toughest conversation that you could have with your parents.
I think it brings about a sense of relief.
Yeah.
I've told you, so first I've had that conversation. Okay. You know what they want, and then you're at peace because you know what the patient wants, right?
Yeah.
At end of life, my father was very clear. No extraordinary medical intervention, no ventilator, do not resuscitate. He was very clear. And I said, okay, do you realize with Parkinson's you won't be able to swallow, so you won't be able to eat, that means your body will starve? He said, yes. I said, do you realize what that means? He was very clear about it. Similarly, aspiration pneumonia, they may have to put a tube to drain your lungs. No. He was very clear.
Wow.
It's a relief for us. By the way, it's a relief for him.
Yeah.
Because he's now very clear about the fact that I have defined my end of life. So I don't have to worry about my end of life being difficult or living in tubes. So do that. Talk about stories, right?
Yeah.
My father-in-law would talk about, stories about his childhood, or my father would talk about childhood. Tease them. When my father used to slur and he used to complain, saying, he used to tell my husband, Sanjeev, I'm slurring. So Sanjeev would say, so have you been drinking beer on the sly? It's just a little bit of teasing. He has a laugh, you have a laugh. Don't dwell on the disease so much.
Yeah.
Because then you're letting the disease take control of
Right.
it. Right? So just have fun, do fun things. By the way, in our house now, my mother-in-law is such a cricket maniac. Dinner time can often get revised depending upon when cricket starts or when there's half time.
That's great.
And that's what you want.
Yeah.
Because it tells us that, she's just so keen about it and so interested that, so what if you have cancer? You're enjoying cricket. And she's quite a critique of the players and what they do and what they don't do.
This is the time when everyone is.
Yeah. But that's keeping someone. Forget about the cancer. There's so many other things to do.
Definitely.
So many things to do.
And I think we are about at the end of our time. Before I let you go, I will try and get to everyone's questions, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
But before I do that, I want to say so many of you have written to us sharing your experiences and also telling us how valuable it is to have you here. And
happy to be here.
I think we're all very moved by, you sharing your experiences with us. And I just want to say to everyone, again, if you need support, reach out to us, famhealth.in/community, write to us on Facebook, write to us on WhatsApp. And even otherwise, find support that you need. And if you think that this video is going to help someone realize that they're not alone, please share it with them. Please make sure you get this content over to them, because everybody that's in this situation needs to understand that they're not alone in it. So I urge you to share this video as well.
So, and one other thing is, if some of you are caregiving people with Parkinson's and Dementia, do read my blog. It's called Parables of a Parkinson's Patient.
Yes, and we will share the link for you as well on our Facebook. And yeah, you can go and visit.
There are tips, some tips there, and things that worked with my father. They may work for you, they may not. I'm not saying this is a recipe, but you may get some tips out of it.
And we've also put our WhatsApp number in the comments to this video in case you need to reach out to us, and we've provided the link to our community page as well in case you want to join us and connect with us. We urge you to be a part of our community and share your experiences, just as Sangeeta has shared hers today. Just before we go, one message that we've gotten is from Reena, which says, my granny is 100 plus and is bedridden. My mom is 85 and she takes care of her along with a helper. People come up with so many advice. Don't without thinking through the agony that the 85-year-old is going through. And un advice se meri mom zyada pareshan hoti hain. And thank you for sharing your experience, Reena. And this is what we were just हमने इसके बारे में अभी भी बात की थी कि बहुत सारे लोग आते हैं. Everyone's got a vichar. Everyone has got some kind of घरेलू उपाय for you. Exactly. नुस्खे सबके होते हैं. And I guess.
And Reena, maybe at some point आपको interfere करना पड़ेगा और उनको बोलना पड़ेगा कि सुनिए, जो हम कर रहे हैं अच्छे कर रहे हैं, ठीक कर रहे हैं, आप अपनी एडवाइस अपने पास रखिए, क्योंकि आप नहीं कर रहे हैं. आपको कहना ही पड़ेगा. आपको लगेगा कि आप रूड हैं, पर वो भी तो रूड हो रहे हैं, तो आप इनकी बात बस सुन. एक केयर गिवर को इतना सारा एडवाइस सुन के और भी थकावट होती है, और भी गुस्सा आता है.
And not just the caregiver, obviously also the person.
और कभी-कभी ऐसे महसूस होता है कि मैं ठीक नहीं कर रही हूँ, है ना, कि जो मैं कर रही हूँ ठीक नहीं है, अच्छा नहीं है. That's not true. Your mother is doing the best she can, and no one has the right to tell her that she isn't, right? By giving unsolicited advice.
And जैसे आपने कहा, that is in a sense perfection in this space. Ki you're doing your best, and in a sense that's right, perfect.
It's whatever you're doing is perfect. I for me that was like light bulb. Attempting to do everything perfect is not going to happen. Whatever you're doing, because you're doing it with a clean heart, it's perfect.
Awesome. Well, on that note, we will say goodbye to Sangeeta for today, although we hope to continue to have her on and continue to have these amazing conversations with you. I've learned a lot. I am absolutely thrilled that you were able to join us, and we want to give you this.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm just giving a lot of things away today, but we want to give you this Famhealth mug.
Thank you.
For you to enjoy your coffee before your walk.
Will do. Thank you so much. I hope I helped in a little way.
You have definitely helped.
And feel free to write back to people, and if at Famhealth someone or I can help you in any way, absolutely happy to do so.
And we will have Sangeeta also posting and being actively involved in our support groups that we are trying to set up on famhealth.in/community. So if you want to be a part of the support group, if you want to find a place that you can express yourself and read other people's stories and experiences, please come online to famhealth.in/community. Again, thank you guys all so much for tuning in today. And thank you, huge thank you to Sangeeta for coming out here.
Happy to be here.
Oh, thank you.
Bye, everyone.
See you.